Imagine standing on Earth hundreds of millions of years ago before the mighty Tyrannosaurus Rex ever roamed, before even a single dinosaur had taken a step. What would you see? What would you hear? What was Earth like before the age of dinosaurs? To answer this, we must travel far back, not just thousands or millions, but billions of years. Earth formed about 4.54 billion years ago. Born from a swirling cloud of dust and gas left over from the sun's formation. In its earliest days, Earth was a violent, hellish place, an ocean of molten rock, constantly bombarded by asteroids and meteors. Volcanoes erupted across the landscape, and toxic gases filled the sky. There were no oceans, no continents, and certainly no life. This era is known as the Hadean Eon, named after Hades, the Greek god of the underworld, and it fits. Eventually, as Earth cooled, the surface began to solidify, and water vapor condensed to form the very first oceans. Around 3.824 billion years ago, during the Archean, the first forms of life appeared: microscopic, single-celled organisms. These weren't animals or plants. They were prokaryotes, simple life forms without a nucleus, and they lived in the oceans, feeding off chemical energy from hydrothermal vents deep underwater. Fast forward to about 2.5 billion years ago, Earth entered the Proterozoic Eon. This was the era of great change. The planet saw the rise of photosynthetic organisms, tiny bacteria that could use sunlight to produce energy and, crucially, release oxygen as a byproduct. This led to one of the most important events in Earth's history, the Great Oxygenation Event. The oxygen that filled the oceans and atmosphere was toxic to many early organisms, causing a mass extinction, but it also paved the way for more complex life. Now, let's jump ahead to about 600 million years ago, entering the Ediacaran period. This was the age of the first large multicellular life forms, strange, soft-bodied creatures unlike anything alive today. They didn't have bones or shells and mostly absorbed nutrients from the water around them. Scientists still debate how these life forms relate to modern animals, but they represent a major evolutionary step toward complex life. Then came the Cambrian explosion. Around 541 million years ago, a true biological revolution. Over the next 20–25 million years, life diversified rapidly. Almost every major animal group, from arthropods to mollusks to vertebrates, made its first appearance in the fossil record. Trilobites, armored sea creatures, scuttled along ocean floors. Jawless fish swam in the seas. This period marks the beginning of the Paleozoic era, and Earth was still ruled entirely by life in the oceans. During the Ordovician period, 485–443 million years ago, marine biodiversity exploded. Corals, shellfish, and the first primitive land plants appeared. But this period ended in a massive extinction event, likely caused by an ice age that lowered sea levels and reduced oxygen. The next chapter, the Silurian period, 443–419 million years ago, saw Earth's first real steps onto land. Tiny plants began colonizing the coastlines, followed by the earliest arthropods, insects, and centipede-like creatures. These were the first animals to walk on Earth's surface. By the Devonian period, 419–359 million years ago, things really picked up. Fish developed jaws, lungs, and even rudimentary limbs. One group, the lobe-finned fish, eventually gave rise to tetrapods, the first four-legged animals to live on land. The first forests appeared, full of ferns and early trees. It's often called the Age of Fishes. But it was also a critical time for Earth's transformation into a life-bearing planet. But again, evolution didn't come easy. The Devonian ended with another major extinction one, that wiped out about 75% of all species, possibly due to asteroid impacts or rapid climate change. Next came the Carboniferous period 359 to 99 million years ago, one of the most fascinating in Earth's history. It was a time of vast swamps, gigantic insects, and massive forests that would eventually become the coal deposits we mine today. The oxygen levels were so high, over 30%, compared to today's 21%, that dragonflies the size of seagulls buzzed through the skies. Amphibians thrived, and the first reptiles evolved, crucial ancestors of dinosaurs, mammals, and birds. Then came the Permian period to 99 to 52 million years ago. Continents collided to form the supercontinent Pangaea, drastically altering the climate. Reptiles began to diversify, including a group called therapsids, which would eventually evolve into mammals. But the Permian ended in the largest mass extinction in Earth's history, the Permian Triassic extinction event, often called the Great Dying. Around 90–96 of all marine species and 70% of land species were wiped out, likely due to massive volcanic eruptions in what is now Siberia, which caused global warming, ocean acidification, and anoxia, lack of oxygen. And then after this cataclysmic reset came the Triassic period, around 252 million years ago. This was the dawn of the Mesozoic era, the age of reptiles. At first, the world was dominated by small reptiles and strange amphibians. But slowly, a new type of creature began to rise, the dinosaurs. But that's a story for another video. So, to recap, long before dinosaurs, Earth was a planet shaped by fire, water, and time. From a boiling rock to a world teeming with bizarre sea life, massive insects, and early reptiles, Earth's ancient past is a story of transformation, survival, and endless change. Without these billions of years of evolution, the dinosaurs, and eventually, we might never have existed at all.